can see as we are conducting research? Anyone? Aside from literatures, what could be the other source? What could be the other part or language of research that will strengthen? Okay? That could strengthen our research. Yes, Anzano, very good. Okay, good enough. Okay, very good. Survey. Survey is one of the most important facts, okay, or language of research that we must consider. Because without survey, there could never be result that we could get out of research. No survey, no justification of our research. So one of the other examples of the language of research is the survey. Okay, aside from literature, we also have the survey. And then later on, as we are discussing deeper about the content of the language of research, or later on as we go along with the other quarters, okay, of this curriculum, you will going to identify what are the other elements of research. So now let us further deepen our understanding by looking at the other factors of the language of research by moving on to campaign and advocacy. So allow me to reiterate once again that the language of research should be the components of research. Again, the language of research should be the components of research. And few of those are the literature and then the survey. And then the other components will be discussed later on as we go along with our discussion. So now let us proceed with campaign and advocacy. So would you like to read the idea of campaign and advocacy? Is there anyone who would like to read? You could click. Okay, maliwat. Okay, very good. Maliwat. And for you, girl, I swear I do the worst. Okay, very good. So when you see a campaign and advocacy, these are two closely related materials. Okay, they are related materials because when you say campaign, you are advocating something. When you are to advocate something, you are to campaign. So campaign and advocacy are interrelated to one another. Okay? And they are in the different forms. They could be in the form of speeches, in which the speaker is going to persuade his audience by means of words, by means of printed materials being presented, okay, being presented in front of his or her audience. Another one, print-based, with the use of pamphlets or booklets that has the most interesting facts about the campaign or advocacy material. And this could be in the form of songs. So what are the best examples of campaign and advocacy being done in a form of a song? Do you have any idea? Which is very common, especially during this coming 2022. We will be having a campaign being done in a song. Okay, yes? Was that one? Okay, very good. Stephen, Rosal, am I right? What is your answer? Okay. What is that? Okay, very good. So, election. So, during election, we are hearing lots of campaign. Okay, campaign of different politicians in a form of songs used to encourage, to persuade the people to vote for them or for him. Okay? Could be in a form of video clips, could be in a form of informational advertisements, and among others. So when we are doing a campaign or advocacy, the most important thing that we must remember is it must be motivating, convincing, encouraging, and persuading to our readers or audience. The campaign and advocacy should be persuading to your clientele. Okay? Am I clear? Okay, good. So now, let us proceed with advocacy. So if they are interrelated to one another, what makes advocacy different? Okay, greater different from campaign and advocacy, because earlier I have mentioned that campaign and advocacy are interrelated or connected to one another because they are closely related. But then of course, even though they are closely related to one another, there's still quite a bit difference of advocacy than of campaign. So what makes advocacy different? Okay, a bit different from campaign. Is there anyone who would like to enlighten us about the difference of advocacy to campaign? If they're closely related to one another, you can just click the raise hand button if you would like to answer. Okay, Lucero, would you like to say something in relation to our discussion for this morning?
Don't you worry, I'll be there whenever you want me.
What makes campaign and advocacy closely related to one another is that there's only one thing. Okay? There's only one thing that makes them closely related to one another. I'm talking about the campaign and advocacy. And what is that? Both of them should be persuading. That is their best similar characteristic. Both of them should be persuading, should be convincing, motivating, and encouraging to the clientele. But what's the difference of advocacy between campaign? That's my question. If their comparison is they, okay, both of them must be convincing, must be persuading, motivating, encouraging. What could be its difference? What could be the difference of campaign and advocacy to one another and vice versa? Galuwa?
Can I call you baby? Can you be my friend? Can you be my lover up until the very end?
Galuwa?
Let me show you love.
Is there anyone who's raising their hand or clicking the button? Raise hand. Okay, so let us go back again to Galuwa.
I'll be there whenever you want.
Yes, anak.
I need somebody who can love me at my worst.
What is the difference? What is the great difference of advocacy against campaign?
Nobody knew I put you first. And for you, girl, I swear I do the worst.
Kahirap ang
Are you still
pag-online
organizing your thoughts, anak?
pag-online
So I
class po.
think-
Bale yan po yung komunikan niya. Dami pa.
Okay, I'll be calling
Ganun
another
po
one.
kahirap
I'll
yung
call
online.
you
Ang
later.
sabi kasi ng iba,
So I think
madali
it will
lang
be
po
the
ang
turn
trabaho ng
of
teacher sa
Jamila.
online. Hindi niyo po
Jamila
alam
Velardo.
ganyan po kahirap. Yan po yung chichikan niya.
Jamila Belardo, what could be the difference of advocacy towards campaign?
Yan po yung chichikan niya pa pagkatapos siya magklase. Ang dami, kapal.
Okay, yes,
Ganun po
Arlen. Very
kahirap
good.
ang online.
Arlen Hernandez? Yes?
Yan, balik tayo kay ma'am pag klase niya. Videohan natin.
Can I call you baby? Can you be my friend? Can you be my
Okay, very good. In campaign class, very good. So, the only difference is that advocacy pertains to an activity. Okay? It pertains to an activity that aims to argue, okay, plead, support, or even have a certain cause. And that particular cause should be centered on the campaign. Okay? Should be centered
Bali,
on
module
to
pala to,
affect the
module.
decision
Ito
of
po
a
yung
person.
chichikan niya pagkatapos niya magklase.
So when you say campaign,
Hindi
it's a
ko pala
well
nasabi.
plan.
Yan po.
Okay?
Module
It's a
po
well
yan.
plan.
Module ng mga banda.
It doesn't matter
Ganun
if
po
it affects
kakapal
your decision,
ang chichikan niya mamaya
okay?
after ng
because
klase niya.
what's
Yan po.
in the campaign, okay, should be persuading to the clientele. But when we're talking about advocacy, we're talking about the activities involved, okay? The activities involved
Sabi po kasi ng iba, madali lang
in
po yung online class. Ganun po kahirap.
making
Ngayon,
the
binibidyohan
decisions
ko po
of
si
the
Mrs.
clientele
Pagklase na
agree.
po. Yan po. Ano po siya.
So meaning to say, class, the
Ano po
advocacy,
siya nagkaklase.
the only difference
Umaga
of
po yan,
advocacy
nagising
from
alas 5 po.
campaign is that advocacy affects the decision making of the clientele, in which the campaign, okay, in which the campaign, just like what Arlen have said earlier, it is a well plan. Okay, it is a well plan. It must be persuaded, or it must be persuading rather. It must be persuading the client, but the advocacy greatly. The advocacy pertains about the activities. Okay, advocacy pertains about the activities that affects the decision of the clientele. Question: is there anything unclear?
Let me hold your hand. I can feel those places in your heart.
In campaign, it's a well plan. Okay, it's a well plan. There is no particular activities given. Okay, for example, one example of campaign is in a form of song, right? So, in a form of song. So, for example, in a form of a song, we're talking about campaign. The activity or the campaign is in a form of song. Whichever or whomever the owner of the tune of the song, it doesn't matter. Okay? It doesn't matter. For as long as the content of the lyrics are persuading to the clientele,
Ayan po, ganun po
That is
kahirap
what-
ang online
that is
class.
the most
Lahat po
important.
dyan ang nagsasabi
It's
na
not the
madali
owner
lang po ang trabaho
of
ng
the
teacher.
song,
Yan po.
but the content of the song.
Mahirap po.
Because you're campaigning.
Mas gusto
You're
nila
campaigning
yung
about a certain
personal po.
person.
Yan
You're
ang
campaigning
walang
about a
magawa
certain
dahil
subject.
pandemic po ngayon. Yan.
So it doesn't matter
Online class
who's the
na.
owner of
Mas
the
gusto
song.
yung pandemic is down na
What matters is
turo. Kaysa sa
who
online.
or who
Mas
is
una-una.
the one being the subject
Mahirap po
of
ang
the campaign.
online class.
In advocacy,
Kasi module po.
In advocacy,
sa school. Ayan po siya.
everything is important. Okay, everything is important. If you are advocating, if if you are an
Kaya po
environment
mahirap ang
advocate,
online
of course,
class.
you are going to use or you must use a person who is an environmentalist. Why? In your activity, okay, you will be having a tree planting. You will be inviting an environmentalist. Why? Because if the people saw him, okay, that environmentalist is with you or with your group doing an environmental act, of course, it will affect the decision, that action. Okay, that action, the mere fact that you invited an environmentalist to help you out with your tree planting will affect the decision of the people that they really need to act now regarding the call of
Po yung online class.
Feel those places in your heart no one else can.
activities are
Show you love.
because with these activities you are
Po, dito na lang po ang video natin kasi matagal-tagal pa ang klase ni Mama tapos mga 1 hour pa. 1 hour pa siguro yan.
in the pain. What's the most important is not the song, okay, not the activity, but the content. In advocacy